What's up, Christy? One Love Fellowship for Followers of Christ. This is Loki, the agent of chaos that was sent into my life to be able to be used remotely as a weapon against me, apparently. That's okay. I'm good at taming beasts. What I was saying earlier. Okay. I'm going to fast forward through a lot because I don't want to be on here too long because I need sleep. It's like 3:33 a.m. 3:33? Oh, it's only 3:32. Yeah. Cycling through special interests, not being able to focus, not being able to force yourself to be interested in things that you would like to be interested in. One of my biggest regrets and triggers with that is, sorry, not being able to play not My Little, well, sometimes it was My Little Pony, but it was easier for me to do the My Little Pony, but because I had My Little Ponies when I was a kid. The Littlest Pet Shop. My child was super into Littlest Pet Shop, and they loved playing Littlest Pet Shop. And they would always want me to play Littlest Pet Shop with them, and I was going through so much. I couldn't focus. I tried. I wanted so badly to sit there and bond with them the way that I did with students in my class before I even got pregnant with them, before I even had them, and especially before things happen. Because I love that so much, to just be able to completely immerse myself in a child's world and learn through their eyes, because as I'm teaching them, I'm learning so much, and that's why I love it so much. But I couldn't have that with my own child because of all the trauma. And that is just so frustrating. And I was trying to say that you need to understand how much trauma changes the brain. It rewires the brain. And it's permanent. And although we do become more resilient with each trauma, and we can withstand more stuff, our brain and our bodies are keeping score, right? Every trauma has its toll, it has its effect. And I'm not saying there's not a path to healing and recovery, because there definitely is, but it's something we will now have to work at for the rest of our lives, and it's because of trauma. Regardless of, genetic predisposition, but you can have the most perfect brain, the healthiest brain, the most perfectly wired brain. Imagine someone having I don't know how to say it without it sounding like it's a judgment thing or like a hierarchy thing, but imagine there being a brain that has been designed perfectly. Like, even if the genetics going into it initially, even if the gene pool it came from had like faulty genes, this brain got the absolute perfect combination from those faulty genes. Like, imagine. And so it had the best processing power, and the like, this brain was designed to be, again, I don't mean to make it like a qualifier, like someone's better than someone else, but like, this brain was specifically designed for a purpose, and the purpose was to process information better than any other brain that had ever evolved up to that point. Okay? And so imagine the potential an individual with that type of brain would have. Imagine the potential that that person would have in the world. And then imagine what happens when that brain is subjected to trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, even in utero. Because even as it's developing in utero, that's what I'm saying. Like the blueprint for that brain was that it was supposed to develop, but the traumas, every trauma makes a difference. And so even in utero, while the mother is pregnant, because the mother doesn't want the child, and this is not any one specific individual, this is a pattern of events, and it affects everyone to some degree, right? But just consider this. The mother doesn't want the child because the mother was forced into conception because, an abusive and resentful ex that she finally left and got her child away from, imagine a mother escaping an abusive marriage with a child that was kidnapped at gunpoint. I'm just saying, like, that's a thing that happens, right? And then that ex coming and taking advantage of that individual while they're under the influence of sedatives given to them by their own mother because they had to have dental work done. Something, I don't know. And that ex saying, I'm going to leave you the way I found you so no other man will want you. And so because of this, that mother does everything in her power to stop this from happening. Because that's how it happened. Because it was forced upon her. And so she doesn't quit smoking, and she doesn't quit drinking, and maybe she even does other things that she knows that she shouldn't do. Maybe she even does things that she hopes will end her pregnancy. And now there's all that trauma during the development. And even so, it doesn't break the brain fully, but it leaves a mark. It leaves a mark. I'm not going to go any further with that particular part of it because it's a lot, and everyone has their own story that I'm sure is similar. Well, not everyone, but a lot of us exist, and I don't want to trigger anyone else's trauma, but I do want to apologize to my children because the sad truth is, even if you have that experience and you want the child, regardless of the experience, or if in my situation you don't even realize that it was forced upon you until much later, but on some level you kind of know, but because you are someone who actually wanted to be a mother, because not every woman wants to be a mother, and I love my mom so much, but she was not someone who wanted to be a mother. She had other goals and ambitions and dreams and things that she wanted to do with her life that didn't involve what she ended up with. But that's what I wanted more than anything else in the world. And even me wanting that more than anything else in the world, so much so that I would take classes and I would read books and I would quit smoking and I would quit drinking and I would do anything and everything in my power, given whatever knowledge and resources I had available to me at the time, to do everything I could to give that child the best start in life. Even so, all that it takes is one more trauma, or the right type of trauma or level of trauma, to just like finally break that brain, you know? It's like a little crack here and a little crack there and a little crack here and a little crack there, until eventually something happens that just blows it completely to smithereens. And whew, it takes a lot of effort to do Kintsugi 1111 on a brain that's been blown to smithereens. Shout out to 21 Pilots. So yeah, maybe we're born with it. But maybe it's literally just too much trauma. And maybe what we need to do is stop the individuals who have been intentionally and systematically traumatizing all of us for definitely generations. I hear centuries, but I want to say millennia upon millennia. And I'm not speaking in terms of any one specific ethnic group, religious group, nothing like that. We are so far beyond all of that. You can be a predator in any skin. In any skin. In any... It can come with any avatar, okay? It can look like anyone or anything. But predators intend to harm. That's all. They intend to harm. Their intentions are to cause harm. They enjoy that. That's what they get off on. That's what makes them feel good. That is their mental illness. And we're all out here running around with all these diagnoses because predators decided they wanted to hijack everything. And they wanted to flip it around on us and make us be the crazy ones. I say that we need to have a No Predators Day. I mean, I think that predators can recover. Maybe not a true predator. I don't know. I know that there are a lot of y'all out here walking around in predator cosplay when you're not actually. I mean, you become one because, you know, once you choose to prey upon someone, technically you're a predator, but I don't think you're unsalvageable. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that there are lots of you out there who you're not actual predators. You weren't born predators. You weren't. And unless you have gone full-blown predator, meaning you're dead inside, completely dead inside, and there is no coming back. You don't want anything good for anyone. You just want to see it all burn. Or you're just so into yourself that you genuinely believe that it is your God-given right to destroy everyone and everything for your own satisfaction. And create your own, like everything's yours, like that entitlement level of, everything's yours. And not only are you telling yourself that, but you've convinced yourself, or at least you've convinced others, that that's your God-given right. No, sweetie, no. But if you're just someone who was someone's prey sometime and you didn't know how else to react to that, because whatever happened, you were born into a cult, or whatever it was, I've seen testimony from people who have been involved in you wouldn't believe the things that some people end up involved in because they're born into certain environments, certain situations, and it was normalized for them throughout their development. And it took something, someone, somewhere, at some point, for them to realize that there was another path. I get that. And I just wish you would choose the other path already. Because karma sucks. Karma sucks. It sucks. And sometimes it can suck for lifetimes. But following the other path, that's the only way you can ever be free. That's the only way. That's the only way. It's the only path to peace. Staying on the path you're on leads to destruction. And not our destruction, your destruction. Because the predators are the ones who will be destroyed. And that's not a threat. It's just how it is. So, I don't know. Maybe just stop being a predator. 1717. I don't know who this will help, or if it'll help anyone at all, but I hope it helps someone today. Just remember, you are loved. You are forgiven. You can be saved. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done or what's been done to you, you can repent, you can repair, you can be redeemed. We need to eliminate predators. So if you identify as a predator or you engage in predatory behavior, you might want to go ahead and start seeking professional help, spiritual guidance. Go within so you don't have to go without. It's a friendly warning. Much love.